good morning. Today is day 2. I am at the NROCKS outdoor adventures in Circleville, West Virginia. I got here yesterday and I did some zip lining. Today is day 2. I'm going to join a group here. We are going to be doing some rock climbing, and then after the rock climbing I am going to do a little bit of hike on this mountain you are looking at. Actually, there is a mountain behind this mountain. That's where I will be hiking soon. So just check in and say good morning, and then I'm up for a full adventurous day, a day full of adventure and fun. Yep, so I'm up for a treat today. This is my late birthday celebration that I'm very enjoying. So I'll check with everyone later. Ciao, ciao. It's beautiful and nice here in West Virginia, Circleville. See you soon. We are now making our way to the start of the Via Ferrata climbing. The group, as you will see here, we are just walking towards that starting point. I'm following one of the guides. He's ahead of me. You see now this young man with the backpack. I'm right behind him, following the short trail that will take us to the starting point of the Via Ferrata climbing, and the rest of the group is coming behind me. As you see, we're just walking up in a single line. So stay tuned. It's going to be some very cool, interesting climbing going on. This was by far the most difficult thing I have ever done. This is, to me, between this and Kilimanjaro, I'm trying to see which one is the most challenging. Kilimanjaro is more challenging because of the altitude, but this one physically is definitely way more challenging. Okay, stay tuned for some fun adventures. This is high.
River, I forgot my coffee.
There it is.
What are you doing?
Where's the drone?
What are you doing? Yes.
We have now arrived at the starting point of the Via Ferrata. We are waiting now to get some instruction from our guide, Brian. Brian was our guide, and we had another guide named River. River was standing somewhere on the side or behind. We are getting some useful tips and required information that Brian is sharing with us on how to do this safely. And he did say it's a difficult climb, but if we follow the guidelines and all the directions, we should be fine doing it. He said he has not encountered really serious accidents or injuries for the many years he's been doing that. If we practice the safety tips that he's sharing with us, we should be fine getting up there. So now we are ready to go. As you see, I have one person in front of me. I was second in line. I'm getting ready to get on the climbing. I had to wait for a required safe distance between me and the person in front of me. 3 rope distance, as you see the pattern in the rock with the ropes, with the cable, not rope, with the cable attached to the rocks. I had to always keep 3 sections of the rope as a safe distance between me and the climber in front of me. So this is me now getting on board, starting, kind of moving the clip from one section to the next one, and typically that's what I will be doing the entire time that I'm climbing up. And as I'm using my right hand to move the cord that is attached to me, I always have also to keep at least 3 points of contacts. One hand to remove the clips from one area to the next area of the cable and at the same time keep 3 points of contacts. That's the safe fair way. That's the required safe way to get on with this climbing. There were times where it was pretty spacious, the space between one middle bar to the next one. I had really to stretch arms and legs to reach the next one, and these were some challenging parts. So this is something you have to do, being very conscious, meaning to pay attention. You cannot get distracted or kind of take it lightly, because it's dangerous. Any mistake really could be very serious or even fatal depending on what happened. So that was a pretty serious hike. Not hike, I'm sorry, serious climb. As you see, I'm making my way up. There were times I couldn't even find a middle bar to grasp. I had to use whatever I can. Like this time, you see, I'm kind of holding on one side of the middle, and then I had to kind of use a crack in the rock to hold on to so I can reach the next bar. So it was fun, challenging, and definitely I really enjoyed doing it, and I could see myself going back to do this again. That was a very nice adventure. So stay tuned to continue to watch this climb as I make my way to the top, and you will see there will be some really cool spot that I will be sharing with you, and I will be checking later with you to share more of how my experience was and how much I did really enjoy this climb. In the meantime, let me share some important fun facts with you about the Via Ferrata. Via Ferrata is an Italian term that means by way of iron. By way of iron. There is an age limit, an age requirement to climb it. Participants must be at least 13 years or older, and must weigh between 88 to 265 pounds. As it says on their website, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's well worth the effort, and I can testify for that. It was very challenging and hard, but definitely very much fun. The Via Ferrata at Nelson Rocks is one of a kind adventure experience, offering a mile of fixed anchor, professionally guided rock climbing. During this 3.5 to 5 hour climb, you will gain 1,085 feet in elevation, cross a suspension bridge that is 150 feet high and 200 feet long, and reach exposed heights of 280 feet. All you need for this day on the rocks is some physical ability, an appreciation of the outdoors, and of course, a desire to have a great day outside. The double fin rocks provide the unique combination of physical challenge and overwhelming beauty, attracting thousands of people annually from the East Coast and beyond since the early 2000s. The Via Ferrata is open year-round, weather permitting. Here are some additional details and safety. Initially designed and built to transport troops in Italy during World War I, Via Ferratas have now become a recreational activity for outdoor enthusiasts. Beginners and experienced enthusiasts enjoy the Via Ferrata at Nelson Rocks. You will gear up and get taught how to use the 2-carabiner lanyard, which allows climbers to be clipped into the safety cables at all times. Then off you go. The higher you climb, the better the views. I totally second that. The higher we got on this climb, the wonderful, the most beautiful the views were. So stay tuned to continue to enjoy this wonderful once-in-a-lifetime experience at Via Ferrata. Some more important facts that I would like to share. People may ask, how does it work? As I explained before, climbers received safety briefing in the beginning, and instruction and equipment fitting on the ground before ascending the rock. Once on the rock, climbers, we must ensure our own safety by keeping the equipment properly connected to the fixed anchor systems at all times. Do you need a guide to climb Via Ferrata? Yes, all participants on the Via Ferrata are required to be guided by a NROCKS approved guide. So you cannot just go yourself and climb this. You must make a reservation via the NROCKS and get a guide to take you to climb the Via Ferrata. Actually, I must say reservations are not required in advance, but what I mean by this, you can walk in, but you need a guide to climb it. You can just show up. You can show up without a reservation, but you cannot go climb it yourself. You do need to have a guide to take you up there. And the guide must be from the NROCKS, meaning you cannot just bring a guide from the outside. It has to be done through them, meaning you can go with no reservation, but once you're there, you need to pay for the adventure and get assigned a NROCKS guide. Next frequently asked question: who can do it? Almost anyone. The requirement is all climbers must be at least 13 years old and must be in good physical condition and must have the ability to handle the physical challenges of climbing while maintaining tether connections. Other question asked: how high do we actually go? All Via Ferrata climber will experience heights of approximately 200 feet. The most adventurous climbers can take the extra challenge of completing the head wall, an additional 100 feet of vertical climbing. I did say that before. It's pretty high, and that extra additional optional 100 feet, I did do that too. So this is not a good activity for someone who is afraid of heights, because you get pretty high, and even here you can see in this clip when I'm looking down to talk to the guide, you see you kept getting higher and higher. So if you're afraid of heights, I'm not going to recommend this to you, but if you don't mind getting high up, you have no fear of heights, so definitely this is a fun exercise or a fun adventure for you. Other questions people ask: how long does it take? The average Via Ferrata trip times range from 3.5 hours to 5 hours. It really depends on the size and the speed of the group. Now in this group that I was part of, at some point we kind of got split, not by choice, but some of us, like me and the guide and three other climbers, were kind of in the lead. We at some point got so far ahead we couldn't even see the rest of the group. So like they said, it varies. It can take from 3.5 to 5 hours. It depends. I think for us, the first part of the group, we did it in 3 hours or 3.5, but the rest of the group who stayed behind, definitely I can see it would take them like 5 hours. We are continuing with our climb. The climb continue. I continue to make steady progress to the top. At this point, we're pretty high up. I would like to continue to share some kind of points of questions people have been asking. Now, another question would be how safe it is to climb the Via Ferrata. So, the Via Ferrata is only safe as the climbers can keep it safe. Meaning, the climbers would have, once they follow the different instructions given, the different instructions from the guide, and they are attentive to their own responsibilities within the group, most risk can be effectively managed. That said, the Via Ferrata takes place in a wilderness setting, which means there are elements of safety that are outside of the control of the guides or the climbers, such as wild animals, sudden changes in weather, and other acts of nature. So it is pretty safe in itself. However, the natural hazards can still be there, meaning the weather, for example, or if you encounter some kind of wild animals situation. However, my experience to do it was pretty safe. As the group that I was part of, we stayed on track, meaning we followed the guidelines given by the guides. So it is a dangerous thing to do. It was dangerous and pretty hard, challenging, but at the same time, I have to say the guides, the whole team, they did a great job to instruct us the proper way, and also the group did a great job to follow the guidelines. So we had a very safe climb to the top. Okay, next question. How should I dress and what should I bring on the way with me to climb the Via Ferrata? According to the recommendation from the NROCKS, you should dress for movement according to the weather. The temperature tends to be about 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler in the mountains, and maybe even cooler due to the wind. You may wear shorts if conditions allow. You should wear closed-toed shoes that you can move easily in, such as hiking boots, running shoes, and so forth. They do not recommend anyone to wear sandals of any kind or Crocs. Some people like to wear gloves when climbing. Fingerless gloves are preferred. For cooler weather, when it's cooler, we suggest a jacket. They suggest a jacket, a hat to wear under your helmet, and full fingered gloves. But during the time that I went, you could wear gloves, but definitely it would be better to wear fingerless gloves. But in the winter time, I can understand full fingered gloves would be ideal. All right, what should I bring with me? That's another question that I had, and they suggest a small day pack when you climb the Via Ferrata, because everyone needs to have their hands free to climb. So they also recommend the following items: at least 2 quarts of water. They encourage you to wear sunglasses, to have sunscreen on, to bring a chapstick with you, personal medications if you will need them during the trip. You can also bring a camera, preferably a GoPro. You can bring extra clothing such as a light rain jacket. You can bring a sweatshirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, and so forth. You can bring, they highly encourage you to bring a snack or lunch to eat throughout the day, because as I said, the climb can take from 3.5 hours to 5 hours. So you will at some point get a little hungry, like I did. A snack of some sort will be very useful, particularly when you get to the halfway point, when you get to the top before you start your descent. What you are seeing at this clip right now was pretty scary and dangerous. As you see, I'm walking alongside horizontally on the side of the rock. There were barely anywhere for me to put my feet. There were no middles. I had to find some kind of spots or cracks to to rest my feet, and at the same time continue to manage clipping the cord into the cables. That was pretty challenging, and now I had to get up, get higher on the rocks. As you see, I'm trying to manage to get through this portion, to move up on the rocks and to get behind that tree. As you see, I got stuck almost because I had my backpack, and I had to find a way to slide through this small space. You are seeing it now. It wasn't that easy. I had to find a way to get through, and I did get through it. I did get stuck a little bit where I had to really manage myself to get through, but I did. As you through it, I wish you could really see me fully, but again, the GoPro camera can only show so much. That was pretty fun and a bit scary too. Now I am moving along with the climb. So let's see what other questions people have. Let's see here. Actually, before I get into the next question, at this moment, I just wanted to say we stopped to take a quick break where I enjoyed this view to take some pictures. That was a short break to take pictures. As you can see, this beautiful view along the side. So, quick break before we continue with the climb. Oh, sure, yeah, do. A question asked, can I get off the Via Ferrata once I have started the climb? And the answer is yes. There are 2 escape points on the Via Ferrata if someone should decide that they don't want or they can't continue. Once we got to each of these exit points, the guides, they did stop to let us know this is an exit point and ask if anyone is not able to continue. So that was the opportunity to exit. At the second one, both guides, they did the same thing to let us know we were at the second exit point, so we know that was an option to exit. Now once we passed the second exit point, at that moment he said there was no more way to exit. If you choose to continue, you know you will have to continue to finish the climb until the end. As you can notice now, I am speeding up the video a bit so I can get through it faster because it was a long climb. That will shorten the length of the video. So I'm just going to let it run with some music in the background for you just to enjoy the rest of the climb, and I will check back in a moment when we get to the suspension bridge. Just enjoy this fast speed climb for a moment until I check in a few with when we get to the top, actually when we reach summit and when we get to the suspension bridge. So enjoy this clip for a moment now. I quickly would like to add this part right here was pretty scary and challenging. As you see, you kind of had to go around that rock to go to the other side to continue the climb. I just wanted to point that out. That was pretty scary and challenging, but at the same time fun and cool. Enjoy. Okay, I have many friends who have asked me If I'm scared of heights, should I climb the Via Ferrata? I have many friends asking me that question. According to the Nelson Rocks information on their website, it says if you have a general healthy fear of heights, you should be okay. But if you are intensely scared of heights, this might not be the best activity for you. I believe I addressed that before. If you have a very like this, if it's mild, your level of fear of heights, then you can do it. But if it's serious, definitely I would not recommend that. As you can see, all through these clips, can you see how high we are, and you see the climbers coming behind me. It was pretty intense at some point. So if your level of fears or you're really scared of heights, then that is not a good recommendation for you. So this is my take on it. But if it's mild, you're just a little bit afraid, then yes, you may do it. But if it's serious, please, I would not recommend that. Right now, I would like to point out that the guide was challenging me to try to uh, clip myself into that middle bar so I can kind of let go of the bar, not holding anything, to kind of just be hanging against the rock. I'm going to challenge myself to do it. It was a little bit scary to do, but I did. You will see soon. I'm going to let go of my hands, and then just really, here we go. I did it. That was pretty much fun. I let go. I had my hands just hang up in the air, and they were taking pictures of me, so I could have it as a souvenir. That was pretty cool, and I definitely was scared a bit, but I did it. That was a very cool experience. People have also asked if a real rock climber would enjoy this climb, and the answer is yes. A rock climber can enjoy this as much as a regular person like me. Because it gives them a chance to leave their rope and their rocks in their car and climb non-stop for a couple of hours without stopping. It is also a great workout and a spectacular way for climbers to introduce non-climbing friends like me to the vertical world. Definitely for me, I have not done the real rock climbing, but this gave me an idea, like a sense of how it feels, how it is to go vertical, like I said. And now I kind of have some desire, if I am given the opportunity, to kind of learn rock climbing. So I think this is a great way to introduce non-climbing friends to this type of activity, and also to see if you have a feel to try rock climbing. Definitely fun. And if you're thinking of getting into rock climbing, I believe this would be a very good way to start. Many friends also ask me how hard it is. What's the difficulty level of climbing the Via Ferrata? It is very hard to say, because it depends on your physical ability and your experience also. It can be demanding or not so demanding, depending on the level of fitness of the person. It can be mentally or emotionally very demanding, depending on the level of comfort with height. So that's why it is not recommended for those who are trying to overcome an intense fear of height. So if you're trying to overcome your fear of height, this might not be something to do right away. You may try with other activities first until you get to that level to try something like the Via Ferrata. Like for me, I have done so many hikes. I'm very good at hiking, and I love hiking. This was by far very, very challenging and demanding compared to the most difficult hike that I have done when I climbed the Kilimanjaro. The Kilimanjaro was hard because of the altitude, but in terms of the physicality, the physical demands, this definitely was harder. So for me, it was hard, although that I can say I'm an experienced hiker. But for someone who's not too much into hiking or physical fitness, if you just try that as your first strenuous activity, that may be a bit too much. So it varies. So it was difficult for me, and I think it would be difficult for most people, especially if you're not experienced in doing things like that. So what I would say, before you go to climb the Via Ferrata, try to kind of, get into exercising regularly, either short run and long walk or some kind of hiking before you attempt that. I would not recommend that as your first timer if you're not into hiking, running, or physical fitness on a regular basis. I also would like to provide some tips on what to wear. It's based on my experience and also the recommendations from the Nelson Rocks. It is better to dress in layers so you can kind of take off some layers as needed to cool down if need to, or also if you need to put back some layers, you can do so. So in dressing layers would be my best recommendation. And also it's good to wear comfy clothes, loose fitting clothing, uh clothes that will not prevent you from kind of that will not restrict you from certain movement. I had tights on, leggings, so they were very good, and you can wear hiking pants. They do not recommend shorts. They do not recommend you to wear shorts. It's preferably to wear long pants or long tights, long leggings, however you call it, or capris maybe. But they definitely must cover your knees, and I can see why, because there were times where I'm climbing, I had to rest on my knees really at certain sections on the rocks to move to the next level or to go across. So if my knees were exposed, I could have hurt myself or kind of get a scratch or kind of even get a cut from the rock. So definitely longer pants that goes over your knees are definitely a recommendation. Now let's look a little bit into the history of Via Ferratas, what it is. What again, in the beginning I touched on it a bit, but let me share more information on the history of what we call Via Ferratas. It says here the Via Ferratas have been popular for decades in Europe, where over 300 routes are open to the public but are relatively new to North America. That's because Via Ferratas were first built to transport troops in the Dolomite Mountain region of Italy. Troops would battle ferociously for mountain tops because of their strategic importance and therefore needed Via Ferratas to transport troops across the mountains. As we remember earlier, we said Via Ferrata means by way of iron. Interestingly, the 10th Mountain Division used Nelson Rocks to prepare for mountain warfare in the Apennines of Italy, long before the idea of a Via Ferrata ever came into existence. Another rock face that was used was Seneca Rocks. Seneca Rocks is located about 15 miles north of the Nelson Rocks Welcome Center and is one of the most popular crags of the East Coast. In fact, many guides at Nelson Rocks started their climbing career at Seneca, and Seneca Rocks is what initially brought Hammett, the builder of Nelson Rocks Via Ferrata, to the North Forked Valley. Built in 2002, the Nelson Rocks Via Ferrata was only the second was only the second of its kind to be established in the United States and still one of the only three on the East Coast. Stu Hammett, the original owner, purchased the property that Nelson Rocks stand on today in 1997 with the intent of turning it into Mecca for climbing enthusiasts. His first step was to build the trail and the cabins that still exist on the property today. Then in 2001, he visited Via Ferrata and discovered firsthand the joy and wonders of Via Ferratas and decided to build one on the property. Once he had a route in his head, he got a group of climbing buddies together, collected some specialized tools that could cut through the very hard stone rocks on the property, and got to work. By now, we have made it to the suspension bridge. As you can see, we are getting ready to cross the suspension bridge. We are just waiting for some kind of final instructions from Brian, our guide, one of our guides. And River will be taking the lead. Actually, she already went ahead. She had to go first to go over the bridge to make sure everything is safe, and then we would be following her. So Brian is just waiting for River to get through, and then now here we go. We got the the green light to go. So now I'm on. It looked easier than it was. At first I thought it was just going to be a piece of cake just to go over it, but as you see, as I started to walk over it, I got a little bit nervous and scared because you see the space between the bars. There is to me a big gap, too big to me, spacing each bar, one bar from the other one. And as you go over the bridge, it's kind of waving or shaking. That wasn't a cool feeling. It was a bit scary, I must say that. I got it through it, and the length of the bridge was about 200 feet, which was long to me. So as you see, I went pretty slow, and I tried to stay as close as possible to the climber in front of me, because that kind of gave me some kind of reassurance. But I did get through it. But that was one of the challenging part of the climb to me, just to go over the bridge, and to feel it moving like that was not fun to me. But I got through it and I made it through. So anyway, it was a very good experience, and I certainly enjoyed it despite the bit of nervousness and scare it gave me. You just heard me scream a little bit. Brian, the guide, did say when we got in the middle of the bridge, it's okay if we wanted to scream, we could. So me and a few other climbers, as we got through it, were screaming nice and loud. Now I'm going to speed up this part of the video again, so to cross over the bridge, so we can get to the next step to shorten the length of the video. So enjoy the rest of the crossing of this suspension bridge. I will check in on the other side when we get to the other side of the bridge to continue with the climb. Okay, made it through the bridge. That was fun and scary a bit. This is the bridge I just crossed now. The other climbers are coming along. So now we are continuing with the rest of the climb to get to the tip of it, to the top, and from the top to begin our descent. So we are very close to the top. There are more challenging parts coming up, so stay tuned and enjoy this climb. a few additional facts about the history of the Via Ferrata and the Nelson Rocks. The route he designed gains hundreds of vertical feet of elevation over half a mile of climbing, leading up to a thrilling exposed summit with unforgettable views of the Allegheny Mountains. The route only took Stu's crew about 6 months to build. In 2009, Stu decided that he wasn't able to dedicate as much time to the Via Ferrata as he wanted and decided to sell the property. John Hall, owner of Endless Horizons, a company based out of Harrisonburg, Virginia, bought it and has expanded the company with a new welcome center, new lodging options, and a new 12 zip canopy tour. And I did actually do the canopy tour with the zip lining, which was very, very much fun. So this is really very good information that I'm sharing with you folks. And if you are into outdoor adventures, if you are thinking into climbing, the North Fork Valley definitely offers that great opportunity to get a feel for climbing, or kind of to really test if it's something for you. So I am really highly recommending this if you're in the area, and it's such a great activity to do. Short break before we do the last optional portion that was not really a requirement, but it was optional. We're taking a short break before we do that last section that I did, which was very challenging. You will see in a moment. So we are almost there, and we are just taking a quick break before we get on that optional part of it.
We'll be leaving our backpack because the guide River recommended that we don't have to take our backpack, so we'll be leaving our backpack in this area. As you see, I'm just leaving my backpack somewhere around here so I can climb to that optional section to get to the summit, the very top, before we begin our descent. So stay tuned for this very last challenging, very difficult section of the climb. It was the most difficult thing that I have ever done, this last portion of the climb. Everything that I have done, all my hikes, even climbing Kilimanjaro, this one right here was the most exciting and challenging and difficult thing. So let's enjoy this with me together. Thank you. I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it to the top. This is summit. I just made it to the very top. Whew, that was challenging. I was just telling River, the other guide, how difficult it was, and that was the most challenging, difficult thing that I have done all my life. but the view was breathtaking. It was beautiful, so it was definitely worth the effort. As you see, I pulled my phone so I can take some pictures of the view, the beautiful rocks and the mountains, and I was taking some selfies and record a little bit of the view of the top, being from the top of the mountain of that rock. We made it to the top. This is summit. We made it. Now we have to go down this way. I don't even know how this is going to work, but this is the way down. Gee, this is scary, but we have no choice. We need to get down.
I didn't look.
So
I don't think I looked down once on the way up.
I didn't either. Yeah. After enjoying the beautiful view from the summit, now we are ready to start our descent. I'm getting ready to go. I'm just waiting for the person in front of me, the first climber, to start going down, and then I will be going. So I'm just enjoying the rest and also the nice wonderful view that we had. As you see now, we have started our descent.
Yes.
The descent to me was as hard as the ascent. It was very difficult, especially that top portion, that optional stretch to the summit, to the very top. Going down from it was pretty challenging. After that, it will get easier, as you will see. I will not be recording all of it, but this first part of the descent was the most challenging. It was to me as hard as going up. So I'm making my way down from the top, from the very top, so we can continue with the descent and make our way down to finish this climb. So enjoy. Okay, I made it through the first part, which was the most challenging part of the descent. Now I'm continuing with the descent to make it all the way down to finish this climb. The portion that I just completed was the most difficult part of the descent. The rest of it will be easier, and it will just be like a portion of the continuous climbing with the cables and stuff, and then we'll get to a point where we'll just hike it down, just normal regular hike. So stay tuned, we're almost done here. Just be patient and continue to bear with me to finish this video. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support to enjoy this fun, exciting adventure that I had recently in West Virginia. Okay, the worst is now behind me. Now we are done with the most difficult part of the climbing. We are just hiking the rest of the way down to the welcome center where we all started. So we are done. I just would like to share a few more clips with you. After that, as you will see, it's like I don't know what was wrong with me. It wasn't enough. After spending 3 to 4 hours climbing, I went on an 11-mile hike. So you will see I'm not sharing the full hike with you, just a few clips of it to conclude the day. So it was a very fun, long strenuous day, but it was still early in the day, just about 12 o'clock. I said I could do something more. So I went on about 12 and 1. I went on to complete an 11-mile hike, which was long, but I made it through. This is what you are looking at now. This is part of the hike that I did. So I'm just going to let it go and let it run, and to share these few clips to conclude this video. Just enjoy. Thank you again for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, please remember to subscribe to this channel and to like this video, and also feel free to share it. Thank you so much. Please continue to watch the rest 2 minutes of this video. Thank you.
Climb wasn't enough. I climbed a very hectic, difficult climb this morning. Like it wasn't enough. Now I'm on a trail the same afternoon doing an 11-mile hike. Yes, this is crazy, right? But since the day's early, so I just took a break here to get some water and to be heading this way. And I did a little restroom stop in the woods. Yes, I did a restroom break in the woods. So now let me go on with my hike. Again, it's been fun, a long day, climbing, hiking, and now let me get going before the day is over. Beautiful day in West Virginia. Ciao, ciao. See you later, folks. Just finishing my hike. Thank you for joining today. Observation deck. Very nice.